You're listening to New England Real Estate Journal Radio with Rick Kaplan, New England source for commercial real estate news. This is New England Real Estate Journal Radio on the Money Matters Radio Network and online at moneymattersboston.com.
Welcome to the New England Real Estate Journal Radio Show. I'm Rick Kaplan with Eric Wilson. And Eric, I think we're going to have another great show.
We always
do, I have to say that.
We always do.
So, last week we had, it was beautiful weather, for one thing.
It's been unbelievable weather the last couple weeks.
And, we did a show in the city of New Bedford. And if you it's not up yet, but it's going to be up on YouTube very shortly. Right, Corey?
It should be up by the time this airs.
And it was amazing. They took us out on the boat. We saw the whole coast in New Bedford.
Right. It should be called. Our show should have been called Discover New Bedford because I'd never been.
I have never been either.
I was totally taken by surprise from what I assumed the place was like. I didn't know it was the port was so strong. How many concerts they have weekly.
Yeah, there's so many things going on there, and so a lot of family activities,
right.
A lot of industry. A lot of manufacturing, new manufacturing that's coming into the
right.
the
they just
city.
built that expensive seaport extension for the wind project farms.
Right.
Or the wind farm projects.
Maybe,
right. They built it.
So if you're a developer and you want to do something on that project,
it's a place
contact
to check
them.
out.
But
I also spent some time on the golf course.
What, down there?
No, down in Irem.
Oh, Irem, that's right.
Yesterday I was at the Irem, Connecticut golf course at Lyman Orchards. And I get to enjoy a beautiful day doing that and tweeting that. So check out my Twitter account for some of the photos. It's a great golf course for anybody who happens to go down to Middlefield, Connecticut.
Well, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, we go down there in October.
Yeah,
and,
then we'll go down.
Maybe we stay
Might be
the
a
night
little
and
chilly,
do a
but
little
I'll take a
golfing.
look anyways.
It's October. It's not that chilly. Just wear long pants instead of shorts.
Well, and we're going to we're talking a little bit about the city of New Bedford. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the town of Auburn, Mass. We have in the studio with us is Marty Reisner, and Marty, I should call him.
Yep.
Call me Marty.
We're good friends now, so I'll call him Marty. He is with Auburn Industrial Development Corporation. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning. Good morning, Rick. Good morning, Eric.
Thanks for joining us, Marty.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
So next segment, we're going to talk a little bit about the industrial park there, as well as some of the things that are going on in the town of Auburn.
Sure.
And I think, we have some other events that are coming up for us. Mm-hmm. We actually, next week, we're going to be doing our show from for the first responders and community protectors, all these things that are going on with the police and, they're having some issues somewhere in this country. We don't even want to go into that. We talked about rioting.
You can check out any major network and you'll find all the stories you need about that.
But some of the real estate and some of the mortgage companies, they're putting on this appreciation for the first responders.
Right, that's really cool stuff.
And that is going to be at, I'm trying to think of the name. They asked us if we would do our show, and I can't find the name of where the show is going to be.
Well, that's bad. It's in Sharon, and you can check us. We'll tweet it out, and you can follow us there.
I had it written down here, and I can't find it now. But it is
Thanks
going
for letting
to
our
be
listeners know.
at the Irish pub there. It's 6:30 to 8:30, and if you want more information about it, you can email us. And if I find out where the rest of that
Let's
is,
just stay with the email.
Yeah, I don't know.
Email us or follow us on Twitter. You'll find it.
I don't know why I don't have it, but if you email us, we can give you some more information on where it is. And if you're a residential or commercial broker, they'd love to have you there, or a mortgage broker or a lender.
Right, and especially if you're in the Sharon area, you should come by.
That's right. We also have October. I'm rushing it because you mentioned the October event, but in June 24th in Warwick, Rhode Island, we're having another Cocktails and Conversation, NEREJ Cocktails and Conversation, from 5:30 to 9, and always a big hit. We'll meet a lot of good contacts there, and we'll be doing our show from that as well.
Yep. I know we're going to be in Connecticut as well, May 26th for the Connecticut Business Expo.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, that's June 4th. 26th is the Hartford Business Journal.
Yeah, well, June 4th, we're going to be at the Connecticut Business Expo, put on by the Connecticut Business Journal.
Hartford Business Journal.
Then on June 17th and 18th, the NEBFM 2015 at the Boston Convention Center. We'll also be doing our show from there as well. And do you have any other events?
Dick Heller, June 3rd. If you're, he's going to be speaking in front of IREM. He's a motivational speaker, well-renowned, really good at what he does. I got a chance to check him out last year. So if you have an opportunity, go on iremboston.org and sign up and check that out. It's definitely worth attending that. Let alone just for the networking, but he's actually really good at speaking as well about how to get yourself, or the most out of yourself. I believe that's it. And as of right now, there's a few other things that are not cemented down, but next show, hopefully, we'll have some more for you.
All right. That sounds like... You have anything interesting going on, Marty?
Always.
Always? No events?
The town of Auburn is holding a 4th of July celebration on July 2nd, Thursday night, so that should be a big smash.
Yeah,
Nice.
well, we're coming up to that time of year, huh?
We are.
Yes,
we're
we
getting
are.
Barbecue weather.
Yeah, well, when we come back from our break, we're going to be talking with Marty Reisner from the Auburn Industrial Development Corporation. But I'd like to thank our sponsors of the show, which is Comstack, City of Marlborough, Mass., City of Rochester, New Hampshire, and the City of Warwick, Rhode Island. And we'll be right back on Money Matters Radio Network.
The next level in commercial real estate. This is New England Real Estate Radio on the Money Matters Radio Network and online at moneymattersboston.com.
Commercial real estate can be a risky endeavor if you don't have all the information you need to make an educated decision. Why spend time digging for data when CompStack provides investors, lenders, and landlords accurate lease comps for office, industrial, and retail properties, starting rents, concessions, and more in just a few clicks? The world's largest investors and lenders use CompStack to benchmark their properties and underwrite their deals. Shouldn't you? CompStack. Better data, better deals. Visit getleasecomps.com today.
Rick Kaplan on the Money Matters Radio Network and online at moneymattersboston.com.
And we're back on New England Real Estate Journal Radio. I'm Rick Kaplan with Eric Wilson. And we have in the studio with us is Marty Reisner of Auburn Industrial Development Corporation. And Marty is going to tell us a little bit about the industrial park in Auburn.
Yes. About 45 years ago in the mid to late 1970s, my uncle David Reisner and my father Harold Reisner purchased a sand pit out in Auburn, which now is the Auburn Industrial Park. They laid the initial infrastructure, the water, sewer, the gas, the electric, constructed about 10% of the buildings, and my uncle David died in the early 1980, and at that point his son William Reisner took over. William is the current president of the Auburn Industrial Development Corporation. He took over and basically constructed the industrial park as we know it today in Auburn. Approximately 320,000 square feet of warehouse space. And then over the next, from 1980 to the present day, we've constructed several other buildings throughout the town of Auburn. An office building, flex space. We also do land development. We own a piece of property on Route 20 in Auburn. Currently, Santander Bank is there. They have a land lease with us, and the remaining portion of the property is vacant, and we're going to be doing a commercial development there at some point in the future.
The Auburn Industrial Development Corporation, how did it start? Did it start the same year that they bought the sand pit, your Uncle David?
No, basically, the William Reisner Corporation is my family's primary business. It's a 100-year-old scrap metal recycling facility. It's located in Clinton, Massachusetts, and that's the business that my grandfather William founded, and then his sons David and Harold built over the next generation, and that's where the that's where the that's where the industrial park came from. Is the success and the growth of the scrap business really spurned on a new business entity, which was industrial real estate, and that started in the early stages, 1970s, and to current date.
And now the scrap business is still
Still operating, correct?
operating.
Yeah.
Is it still in Clinton?
It's still in Clinton, Mass.
And because I know some space I can tell you about in Auburn, if you need some. But,
If you want to move.
yeah. So now on this industrial park,
Yes.
are there any big name manufacturing or just warehousing?
It's a mixture of both. It's primarily industrial distributing, warehouse distributing. Imperial Distributors is one of our biggest tenants. Masterman's, they do industrial safety supplies. They're another one of our. They're actually our largest and longstanding tenant. So primarily it's in warehouse distribution, but we do have tenants that are manufacturers. We used to have a company called Wolf Coach. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
I am not.
But they used to fit up security vehicles, television station, satellite equipment on vans and trailers, and they were one of our biggest tenants for a very long time. They got bought out by another company that moved them to another location. They were a manufacturer, but
Oh.
in their place, we've got a couple manufacturers that have moved in. EDAC, they're one of our a tenant that's been with us for about 5 years. They do manufacturing. We also have other different tenants, Auto Parts International, a lot of hub businesses that, this is a distribution facility where the contractors can come and go and pick up the supplies.
Now, do you have any open land?
Yes, we do.
Or if someone had a manufacturing or a industrial type of warehouse space that they wanted to put up, you have land that that's available.
We do have land that's available, but currently right now we have 2 vacant pieces of land. One is the 8 acres I was previously talking to you about next to Santander Bank on Route 20, and the other is on Millbury Street in Auburn, down the street from the Auburn Mall, and that's about 4 acres. And what we're gearing up for is more of a mixed retail office use type of use. It's better suited for that area, and that's the way our next project. We have 2 future projects coming down the road. They're going to be more geared towards a retail application.
How close is the Auburn Industrial Park to your central highways, Worcester, I-84, 290? I could name 1,000 roads that go
Sure.
through that area, but
Yes.
how close are they for in and out for commuting? If someone so that a business could say, okay, I want to put it here because I'm pulling from Worcester. I'm only 40 minutes from Boston. I'm only 40 minutes north of Hartford.
Correct.
So you can pull in a lot of the employees. Is it close to highways in proximity?
It's actually Auburn, Mass. Is the heart of New England, literally the central. It's the central location of New England, and we have our industrial park and our other buildings are located, I'd say, within a mile to Interstate 290, and from there, you're within 5 minutes to the Mass Pike,
Right.
to I-190, to 495, to 395. We're right on Route 12, Route 20, and then 146 going down into Rhode Island.
Okay.
is an attractive, position to be in.
Yeah, right.
So now, what made your decision to now start going into more or less retail, mixed use? It's getting away. Are you trying to get away from the industrial?
No. We just have. That's our bread and butter, and it always will be. And that's we just want to take the next direction to go toward a more retail business model. And that's what the land is more geared for, where it's located anyways. It's located right on Route 20, which is going commercial.
Right. So it's on a more of a residential, not residential, retail type
Like mixed use,
roadway.
first floor,
Yeah.
second floor office.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So
I have a question. How does the AIDC? Now I acronymed it because we're in commercial real estate, like everything is.
That is our acronym. That's
yeah,
what we
right.
go by.
Do you guys work hand in hand with? Does Auburn have its own economic development council? Or does it have like a town planner or something like that? Do you work in and along with them, or?
Sure. The town of Auburn, several years ago, got a wonderful young lady named Julie Jacobson. She used to be the town manager in Worcester, and now she's the town manager in Auburn.
Okay.
And she's just a wonderful lady. She's done a great job promoting business, bringing business to town, helping Auburn Industrial bring business to town. And so we work pretty much hand in hand with the town manager, with all the utility departments, with the building department, inspectional services. So we have a great relationship with the town of Auburn, and we've always supported one another.
Nice.
Well, that's important nowadays, to have a good EDC, because, you have to have them driving. You have so many cities and towns around that they're falling apart because no one ever was driving any business or renovating, and I think that's starting to change because some of these smaller towns, they have all these real, just ugly-looking downtown areas, which they're changing it to make it more, boutique-ish or walkable.
Well, more live, work, play. They want to make sure that you can make almost all downtowns walkable,
Right.
So that people will be out and about. And when you're out and about feeling good, you're usually spending money, and that's usually a good thing.
Well, Auburn being close to Route 20, I mean, there's a lot of things available to do on Route 20.
Right.
Yeah. A couple of new businesses that have come into town. One is the Outback Steakhouse. Just did a redevelopment and expansion right where Staples used to be on Southbridge Street, and so that's really classed up the area there.
Outback has?
Yes.
Oh,
What do you mean? Whoa, it's Outback.
No, it's a beautiful building. You should check it out sometime. It really is. They did a great job.
Nice. They have some of my favorite crab cakes.
Outback?
Yeah, they have this really good yellow curry sauce they put over top. It's so good. What about? I know that you had a big award last year that you gave to Mastermans. I remember you mentioned them earlier. This is your first time you've ever given away a tenant appreciation award?
Well, the Tenant Appreciation Day is something my cousin, William Reisner, the president of Auburn, developed many years ago, and we've kind of continued the tradition. And this year, we decided to focus it on the Masterman's Company. Like I said earlier, they're our largest and longest-standing tenant. They occupy approximately over 80,000 square feet of space.
Wow.
And their founder, his name is Ben Masterman. He was just a guy selling stuff out of his trunk.
Really?
And we were his first expansion into a real industrial warehouse facility and distributing. And him and his family did a great job in building the business. Ben passed away a couple of years ago, so we thought it would be fitting to kind of do a remembrance and a memorial to Ben and show our appreciation for him being a great tenant and Masterman's being a great tenant and a role model for all the other tenants in the park to follow. So it was a great success. We had the Chamber of Commerce and the Board of Selectmen and Representative Paul Frost, and all our tenants came, so it was a great day.
Yeah, it sounds like a great time.
Well, it's almost on the idea of what building impacts. Have you ever heard of building impact?
Yes.
Yeah, they do something similar with different properties that are owned
Right.
throughout the city. That might be someone you might want to get.
Because they do things
matched
like,
up with.
they run, they do like a quarterly charity for your building so that all the tenants don't have to run their own. It's
Right.
kind of a cool idea.
Interesting.
But we have to go to a break. Before we go to the break, I want to also.
You found the place?
Well, no. Oh, that's right. I did find the
We
place,
found
but
the
I forgot
place.
what the name was.
Mick Morgan's.
Mick Morgan's in Sharon,
In
Mass.
Sharon. So you don't have to email us now.
That's right.
Unless you still want to. And then we'll understand.
Yeah, well, it was sort of like a breaking news because I just got the email.
Right.
So, but I wanted to tell people how they can listen to our show besides on 11:20 a.m.
Okay.
on Money Matters Radio Network. You can also listen to our show on our podcast, which is on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and the NEREJ or the NYREJ.com /radio pages. or you can watch us on NEREJ Radio YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. And we'll be right back on Money Matters Radio Network.
Rick Kaplan and Eric Wilson, right here on the Money Matters Radio Network and online at moneymattersboston.com.
Are you living in a condo or co-op? Do you have difficulty receiving deliveries from UPS, FedEx, or your pharmacy when you're not home? Well, there's a solution. Video Doorman. It's a security system with live on-call operators for condos and co-ops that receives packages when you're out, stores them in a safe package room, and then notifies you about your delivery. They can even handle dry cleaning, pickup, and delivery. But there's more. If you come home late at night and don't feel safe, just press the Video Doorman key fob, and the Video Doorman operator will greet you by name and escort you right up to your floor. He can see you and speak to you and handle any potential problem. And Video Doorman costs only about $1 a day. Call Video Doorman at 888-697-3630 or visit videodoorman.com to receive a free building evaluation. That number again is 888-697-3630. Call now, feel safer, and never miss a delivery again.
And we're back on New England Real Estate Journal Radio. I'm Rick Kaplan with Eric Wilson, and we're here talking with Marty Reisner of AIDC, I should say.
Yeah.
Auburn Industrial Development Corporation.
Either is fine.
AIDC because Eric already broke out the acronym.
That's how we do it here in the commercial real estate industry, or the CRE industry, if you will.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we were talking on the break. There's some green initiatives that you have going on for the park,
That's correct.
and what other kind of tenants are you looking for, or are you aggressively looking for tenants for that park?
Yes, in particular, we have a office building located at 48 Sword Street in Auburn, Mass. It's a beautiful building. We had a tenant move out last year, so we have approximately 10,000 square feet available on the first floor. We're targeting data centers, call centers. It's a great setup. It's split up in two individual sections of 5,000, so either 5,000 or 10,000 square feet. And it's at that particular building that we're in the process of doing some of our green initiatives, upgrading the lighting, updating all the heating and ventilation systems in that building, updating the roof, just doing everything we can to minimize the building operating expenses for our tenants, and taking care of the building and trying to keep it leased.
When you say the roof, are you talking solar panels? Are you talking natural green roofs? Or are you just talking, making sure that it's not, producing the same CO2 emission?
They have different types of roofs now that differ from the old type of roofs. We researched the solar, but that rooftop space doesn't give it enough to maximize the green effect.
Okay.
So for right now, we continue to research the solar, but you put the solar up on the roofs and the roofs leak.
Right.
Then you got to fix the roof leak.
Yeah, so I mean, right now the roofing that you're putting on is so it doesn't leak. So
Exactly.
and after this past winter, I'm sure that a lot of roofs have gotten beaten up. But
Yeah,
we were very lucky. We made it through the winter with. It was an incredibly difficult winter, obviously, with all the snow, all the ice dams on all the buildings.
Yeah.
But we maintained everything, no incidences, and business were able to operate, which is the bottom line, safely.
Right.
Actually, that's a great point, though. When you own an industrial park like that, and you have an issue like what we had this year with all the snow, at some point, doesn't it get to be overwhelming? To the plowing, the taking care of those roofs. I mean, we saw people on 10, 15 guys standing on top of roofs shoveling them off. How do you deal with all that?
Well, we've got it down to a science. We've got a small crew that maintains, over 350,000 square feet of space in the park, and an additional 150,000 square feet outside the park, shoveling off the building perimeters, keeping when the snow melts, keeping the roof gutters clear so that everything melts and goes towards the drains. So it's basically this winter was a 24/7 communication with our maintenance crews
Well, I
on
was going to
site.
ask you that. Do you have your own maintenance crews like in-house? And so your own property management companies in-house?
No, we sub it out.
Okay.
We use a company called American Groundworks
Okay.
out of Sterling, Mass. They're excellent, and they maintained all our buildings.
And now they should give you a break because you just gave them a plug.
Big time
You know?
plug, yes.
Right?
On a commercial real estate show. That's,
Right.
that's a big plug. Yeah.
That is a big plug.
And also, the name of your scrap business
The William Reisner Corporation
in Clinton.
in Clinton, Mass.
Yeah. Which, that probably works well together with the commercial real estate, because when you're tearing apart some of these buildings, a lot of the structures inside are metal now.
Exactly.
And where is your offices for the AIDC? Is it in Auburn or is
It's
it in
in
Clinton?
it's in Clinton at
Okay.
the scrap company
Right. Okay.
at the William Reisner Corporation. And Rick brought up a good point because several
Really?
of
Can you
our-
say that one more time, Marty?
Rick
Yeah,
brought
please.
doesn't happen
I'd
often.
like to hear that.
Yeah, that doesn't happen often.
No, Rick did bring up a valid point that some of our real estate tenants are also our scrap customers.
Oh, right.
You know, so some of our manufacturers produce scrap metal. We go pick it up. So I'm plugging both Auburn Industrial and the William Reisner Corporation.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. They're
the
hand in hand.
AIDC did just come up with a new website. And when did you launch that?
We launched it early December of 2014, and
So it's only 6 months old.
only 6 months old. We're still attacking the social media aspect of it.
It's a good thing you just met me, Marty. I'm really good at it. That's my plug for myself.
Yeah, well, every company pretty much needs a dedicated person right now to
For sure.
maintain the social media aspect of it. We are on Facebook,
Nice.
and our website is aidc.com. It was developed by Pagano Media out of Worcester. They did a fantastic job.
And what's on your website? Is it you have the?
No, I was just going to ask, what do you have a Twitter account?
Not Twitter yet. We have Facebook,
Oh, okay.
Google Plus.
Nice. Well, Google Plus. We haven't heard that since 2010. No,
He's
that's my
catching up. He's catching up.
that's my social media dig right there. No, that's
good
great.
dig.
On this new website, what does it feature other than your background? But does it have an inventory of what's available? Does it have pictures, photos, and stuff like that?
Has a complete inventory of all our buildings, pictures, PDF floor plans of all the spaces, and engineered drawings of all the buildings and land that we have available. So it's a great website. It's got everything you need there, all the contact information to reach myself.
What about
And before you leave, I'm sure Eric was going to want to have you set up on Twitter.
Yeah.
So he
you
can-
should be on Twitter
we
because
should be on
Twitter is
Twitter.
the news channel of news, where people go there strictly for news, and it's not as much competing with people's friends, which is always a difficult thing, especially on Facebook.
LinkedIn and Twitter.
Yeah, that's where I live, but I understand why people use Facebook because everyone's there. It's kind of like saying, "Oh, I don't want to go fishing because all the fish are in one pond." It makes no sense. So, but Facebook's really hard because you're always competing against friendship. Friendship's always going to beat business when you're using an entertainment website. Twitter's a little bit different because it's strictly short stuff and news, and LinkedIn is obviously it's strictly professional. It's a professional Facebook. But on your website, I was wondering, it has all your contact information. It's all brand new. Is any of these properties build to suit? So you said that you see the floor plans. Does that mean if I like the space, I want the 5,000, I like the location, would you compensate renovating it to fit what I need?
Sure, most of our tenants, when they move in, they require some sort of fit up or build out.
Okay.
They either do it themselves, or if they want us to do it, we've worked with contractors. We can, create the ideal office space within a warehouse
Right.
for a distributor.
That's cool. I know that's the another thing people like to have. They like to put their own spin on it and stuff. Like, oh, I want to change the lighting and the way the natural light comes in, or just simple things like that.
Now, you also have a building that you have the executive office suites where you offer them, they're furnished, they have, is this like a office assistants there and the equipment?
Well, what we have is
I almost said secretaries, but that's an old.
that is available. But what we have right now is we found with all our industrial tenants and even our office tenants that they required an executive type of atmosphere with a boardroom and individual offices, somewhere where if a tenant was hosting, a board meeting or some sort of professional meeting, they could use this office space. And it's located at 48 Sword Street, so we've been very successful in leasing this space. It's got phone, it's got internet, it's fully furnished, it's got a copier, it's got a 16-seat board, professional board table, projection. It's got everything you need to just kind of plug and play.
So is this a daily rental?
It's daily, weekly, monthly,
Oh, really?
hourly.
Wow.
Wow,
That is good.
That is
So if someone
unique.
comes in, a company comes in from out of town and they need that kind of a facility, they can rent something like that from you.
Exactly.
That's a pretty good. Is that common? I haven't
No, that's
heard
what
of
I'm saying. It's
that.
very unique to my ears.
Yeah.
Well,
that's really
Regis
cool.
Regis does that to some
Okay.
degree in that they lease out Regis.
Yeah.
They,
But what about, so you have a lot in your industrial park, does any of them use that? So when they host
Yes.
clients coming in from, like, say, another country or another place, they don't want, forklifts running behind them while they're trying to communicate. Do they use this office space for that as well?
Yes, they do. So it's been a big success with our existing tenant base, as well as mediators, lawyers, appraisers, people that come in from out of town that need a space for a day or 2 days or a week.
Right.
But it's been successful on both levels to outside entities and also our existing tenants who need it to host special events.
And you can find what it looks like on your website or
Yes.
more information about it, too?
Yep, go
Nice.
right on the website under Office, and it will show you all the pictures and the floor plans of the executive office suite.
Now, is there only one, or do you have multiple suites like that?
This is our first step. So
okay.
we've got this unit is about 1,200 square feet. It's got 3 private offices and an executive boardroom, which can be leased together, or the offices can be leased independent. It's very flexible.
Nice. Have you ever thought about bringing can someone lease that out for a long period of time if they wanted? Or do you not want that because you like the continual, convenience for anybody else who needs it?
Well, it is available if someone, wanted to set up shop, but usually what we find is the people that are most attracted to, the companies that are most attracted to this space are companies that only need something for a short
Right.
term,
Like a
6
quick
months,
satellite.
6 months, a year. We've also done that.
Right. Now, you have some future projects that you're planning.
Yeah, we're in the beginning phases of designing a mixed use building. It's on Millbury Street in Auburn, and approximately 10,000 square feet of retail on the first floor and 10,000 square feet of office on the second. And we hope to start construction within the next year.
So is this land that you had just recently purchased, or have you had?
No,
this?
it's been in the
Sounds
family.
like, yeah, your family owns a lot of Auburn.
I think we're the second largest taxpayer.
In Auburn?
Yep,
Nice.
other than the Auburn Mall.
I didn't even know there was a mall in Auburn.
What?
Yeah.
It's like famous if you drive down the road. It's all on the highways. It's like
I
one of
drive down a lot of roads. I haven't.
Yeah, but I
seen
mean,
it
like, if you
already.
go south of Worcester, when you start
Right.
driving south, you'll see signs, Auburn Mall here and there. That's the only reason I know it. I knew when we found out, because I go to Worcester a lot. But,
Yeah. Yeah, but now Eric's big question is how many disc golf courses are there in Auburn?
well, yeah, it's funny. We already discussed that offline. Everyone knows how I feel about disc golf. But one of the big things I was asking is, are you looking to fill the land you already have, or do you still look to acquire new land, or do you acquire new buildings to fix things up? Because we only talked about what you have existing
Right.
and what kind of projects you guys have with stuff that you already have. What about going out and trying to get new?
We've done that before in the past. It's obviously a little easier to acquire a property and to fit it up and to release it.
Right.
We actually did that. We own a building on Bancroft Street in Auburn that we purchased probably about 10 years ago. we were fortunate in that we got a very good tenant in Airgas to come in, and so they did a big renovation, and now it's a perfect spot for Airgas to operate out of. It's right off of Route 20. It's on Millbury Street in Auburn. So that's a scenario where we went out and actually purchased a depressed property, if you will, and put money into renovating it, and now it's a great building and great location and a great tenant. So yes, if the opportunity is right, we will look for additional office or warehouse space to purchase.
Nice.
Now, Marty, if someone is interested in finding out a little bit more about some of your properties, obviously they can go to the website. It's aidc.com?
www.aidc.com.
And how would they get a hold of you if they didn't have a computer?
Feel free to call our office in Clinton. I'll give you that phone number. It's 978-365-4585.
Should they call and ask for you?
They should call and ask for Marty Reisner.
Marty Reisner. And we appreciate you coming on the show. And we
Definitely.
also,
Very interesting stuff.
Yeah, we learned a little bit about Auburn.
Learned a little bit about Auburn.
Yeah.
A little bit about the
Scrap
I
business.
was going to say the
Yeah,
William
scrap
Reiser
business.
scrap business.
And
And we learned about how good the crab cakes are at Outback. So if you're actually out
that was
in,
and Eric's little input.
hey, and if you're out on Route 12 in Auburn, stop by the Outback Steakhouse and try them up. I
Or
promise
just
you won't
stop
be
in.
mad.
Yeah, just stop in at the Auburn Industrial Park and say hello to Marty.
Well, he's in Clinton,
Oh,
so
Clinton.
unless he's showing,
Unless he's visiting.
showing property, and
That's
you know what he
right.
looks like.
So we were talking with Marty Reisner of Auburn Industrial Development Corporation, and we appreciate you coming on, Marty.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, and I'd like to thank Karen Dowell, too, from the Real Estate Journal.
Definitely.
Done a
A
lot
lot
of
of plugs coming from Marty today.
Well, a lot
I
of
like
that's
it.
right.
We've done a lot of business over the years, and I appreciate her
Yeah.
introducing me to Rick.
Nice.
Yeah, well, we work well with all the representatives of the Journal, and we try to do our best and promote all of our advertisers.
Right.
So we appreciate that as well, Marty.
It works both ways.
Thank you. And we'll be right back on Money Matters Radio Network.
Rick Kaplan is right here on the Money Matters Radio Network.
And we're back on New England Real Estate Journal Radio. I'm Rick Kaplan with Eric Wilson, and we have some, I believe this is very urgent news that we want to bring up because it's kind of tragic what's
It
going
is.
on, and this is something that's near and dear to both of us. It's this Tom Brady incident from the Patriots.
Right. First, I want to thank Marty Reisner for coming on. He did a great job talking about Auburn, but let's get into the serious stuff here, which is TB12 and how dare the NFL sabotage him. And it hurts me more. I remember when Spygate came out.
Now, let's clarify this. This is commercial real estate related.
It is,
So-
because I'm not buying my ticket and my seat in the Patriots Stadium unless Tommy B's behind that center. So I was really bummed out that during Spygate, that why do we even have to do that if all the teams are doing it? Why are you doing that? And you put us that. But this is way beyond that.
Yeah, and I don't care if he was guilty or if he's not guilty. Even if he had them on, they had him on a camera doing
Right.
it, I don't care. Why should he be penalized so severely? Why
don't
should
get
the
it.
team be penalized so severely?
I didn't get
It
that
makes no
either.
sense.
It's because they're weighing in on 2007. That's 8 years ago.
Right.
Why would that have any bearing on what's going on today? It's a totally different team. I think the real thing is, my issue is, they're not suspending him for the fact that he knowingly or more than probably knew something of something going
right.
on down the street when little kids are talking about. I would say they didn't want him to hand because of his cell phone. He didn't hand over his electronic
Right,
communications.
because he didn't want to contribute to
But
the
here's the weird
investigation.
thing. Well, that's what they think.
Right.
But he's married to Giselle Bundchen, who is one of the most famous women on the planet. And he's one of the most famous men on the planet. And who's to say that it's only going to be used for the Ted Wells investigation? How do you know someone who's not working for Ted Wells isn't going to sell that stuff to TMZ? You
No,
don't.
I think
But if it's your
you're
phone,
reaching
but I'm saying if it's my phone, that's what I would think. I got to put all the worst case scenarios in. How about the fact that he goes to the beach, he goes skydiving, anything he does,
naked pictures.
What if he has that? What if
Right.
him and his wife sent those, and someone sells that to TMZ? Would you? I mean, and you can't put it past people. They do that all the time.
Yeah, I don't. Like
So
I said,
you
I think
can't-
that's you're reaching now for.
But what I'm saying is, why would the NFL need his private message?
Well, they're
phone?
looking for the text.
You already have the text on the other people's phone.
Well, that's
the
true.
second half communications.
Right.
You only need his phone because you're digging for something else.
Yeah.
You're looking for something else
Well,
about his family. What do you mean? You have the
Well,
communications.
maybe not. I don't know that part.
If you and I have texts, and I give my phone to the police,
I
they
would
have
never show
our.
any one of those texts.
But I was going to say, they have our text conversation.
Yeah.
They don't need your phone if we're both having a communication.
They don't even need your phone.
Right.
You get a subpoena, you can get it from the telephone company.
Right,
I'm
but this is
sure.
the NFL, and they can't get a subpoena. This isn't a court trial. But again,
Yeah,
what
and
I'm
now that brings up another point. If there was any court in this country
oh, I've been thrown out immediately.
that had a case like this, probably, maybe, he's guilty.
Yeah, right. That
what do
just
you-
doesn't work. Probably, maybe he knew something.
you're guilty of murder.
Yeah,
Okay.
4
you get
days
the death
suspension.
penalty.
Yeah, right.
What?
I don't
That
get
makes
it.
no sense.
So that's my first qualm is the phone thing. He should never turn it over. And 2, the penalty is outrageous. A first-round draft pick next year and a 4th round, the 7th pick. And in the report it says the Patriots, Bob Kraft, and Bill Belichick have no knowledge of this.
Yeah. Right. I mean,
No
right.
knowledge. They
And-
literally state that they have
They
no knowledge.
stated
And
that,
yet you
and then
penalty
they
them.
fine them.
Yeah, $1 million, the biggest fine
And
of all.
they take away draft picks.
That's what I'm saying. This is out of control.
Yeah. It's absolutely absurd.
I can't imagine this won't be appealed immediately.
And now that someone had started a
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe to pay the $1 million.
Now, I think it's fun, but let's get serious. I think Bob Kraft can handle
Now
that
Dave
bill.
just walked in. Now Dave will probably
Oh.
want to comment on this.
We're talking about Tom Brady and the fact that because he's the greatest quarterback of all time and he's in New England and we're dominating the parity age, they are sabotaging us. They're trying to crush and for whatever reason.
Wait,
it's-
hold on, go back. I missed that kind of. You went right over my head for a second.
Tom Brady
The
is
NFL is colluding.
yes, they
Yet
have
Tom
been.
Brady was the basis. of
Well,
what you're saying,
Tom
right?
Brady and the Patriots again. They knew before the AFC Championship game, and when Dean Bandino, the VP of officiating, said, "Oh, we had no prior knowledge," it's right in the Wells report. Yes, you did.
Yes.
You were sent emails. We have it digitally. So why are you lying to us?
I
And
tend to
why
agree
is
with you.
that
I'm
no-
a conspiracy theorist. I tend to agree with you because coincidentally, right after the punishment got handed down to Tom Brady, the NFL Network had a full lineup of programming for the next day.
Yeah,
You
right.
know,
Right,
like
yeah.
just a coincidence.
And
out
it's
of the blue.
also dominating even during the NHL playoffs and the NBA playoffs. Why didn't they do it during their seasons? Why did they wait till they're in their playoffs?
And
Because
I'll
they
bet
want
you
that
any
media.
amount. This is another thing. I bet you any amount of money they'll go through this appeal process, and
It'll dominate the media the whole time.
yeah, it will dominate the media, but it will also they'll bring that down to almost nothing.
Yeah, I think so too.
I bet you that's what's going to happen. This is
There's
big
too many
news,
holes.
You know.
There's too many holes in
There's
it.
definitely doing. I would love to see what Roger Goodell is doing right now, what he's thinking, because he just pissed off the #1 owner in the NFL, the guy who's made the NFL more money than any other owner, right?
Right.
Because he was the biggest person
first
in
one.
that
Right,
he was one
television
of his
deals and
largest
things like
supporters.
that.
Yeah, and the biggest stadium, the first one to build these mega stadium
Right.
complexes
This
that now
is-
that
he
everyone
is-
has.
This is gonna play out, and it's gonna be fun to
But
watch.
I-
It really is gonna be a fun.
But
summer
here's
to
the
watch
thing:
this.
they hold these players to this high standard. Don't cheat the game, the integrity of the game.
Yes.
But your VP officiating's on national TV lying, and yet he's not even going to get slapped in the wrist.
Correct.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
The
I'm not.
whole-
And the other part of this, and a lot of people are obviously taking this to the degree of Goodell screwed up with all those other, whether it's Ray Rice, things like that. I'm not even taking it to that degree
yeah,
because
it's-
it is what it is.
Those are apples and oranges.
The integrity of the NFL has already been proven. They don't have integrity.
Right.
The integrity
Right.
of football is a completely different beast.
Yeah, it's a different animal.
And the reality is, this type of stuff, it never should have occurred in the first place. The football should be handled by everybody else. The
I
guy didn't
agree.
get to the NFL because he
That's
can't.
right.
He could throw any type of. The whole thing could be deflated, and he could throw 50-yard passes.
Yeah,
Right?
but
He's a
that's right.
professional.
That brings up an even more important point. The NFL is penalizing them. This is something that they should have fixed or set the rule ahead of time. The rule is not set because you don't give the balls to someone that works for the team to watch them.
Right.
You know?
It is.
I
It's
agree.
just an illogical. The
None
whole
None of it
thing how
made
it played out.
sense.
Is
But
just-
again, you in 2007, right? Is that the year they voted Peyton Manning and Tom Brady
Yes, yeah.
made this push so that we could handle our own balls. The away team could still use their practice balls all week.
Yep.
When Tom Brady says, "Hey, I need these balls to be 12.5, mucked up, whatever," like Eli and Aaron Rodgers, why would you think as soon as you give it back, if you've altered it from where he gave it to you,
Yeah.
that he's not going to have those guys re-alter it back to where it's supposed to be at 12.5? And yes, it goes
Well,
to 12.3.
the other aspect of this is because the only hard fact inside the Wells report that I found with Tom Brady was that he doesn't like the football at 16 psi.
Right.
Meaning he was pissed at the guys
Right.
for pumping it. Now that to me made it look like the refs underinflate the football. So when they get it in their hands,
Right.
they take out pressure out of the football to try to get it to 12.5, but they actually do it a lot less. So Brady has them overinflate it because he thinks that when the refs get their hands on it, it will be back down to 12.5, if that makes sense.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
That's-
I
I-
see what
I
you're
don't
saying.
know. You know, it's,
My thing is
but
like this.
the
How do
bottom
we know
line
that
is-
I
they-
think they just can't hurt Tom Brady.
Hey,
I think this is an issue that the NFL knows is widespread, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they don't want that to happen anymore. And so what they're doing is they're calling out the one guy that, in all honesty, you can't touch Tom Brady.
No, but this
What
is
other NFL player was
That's
in
my
clear
stuff,
view?
But
Tommy
this is
T.
definitely going
Seriously.
to tarnish his reputation.
It's not
What?
even gonna-
Where?
No, that's a
Throughout
joke.
the rest
He
of the
could
country.
run. Yeah, I was
Not
going to say
here,
he
not
could go
here.
run for senator of Massachusetts right
But wait a
now
minute,
and
wait a minute.
Hands down.
Which
Hands down, I'd vote
Tell
for
me
him.
a current athlete, okay? Tell me a current athlete that you saw at the event of the century, which I'm going to call it the event of the century, the Pacquiao Mayweather fight. That was the event of the millennium. It was everything, right? What athlete, what present day athlete did you see on camera at that event?
The whole time.
Tell me anyone other than Brady that you saw there. Because
No,
the only other
Tom
athlete
Brady
I
was-
saw was Andre Agassi. How he got there, I have no freaking
that's
clue.
right. Yeah,
but
right.
Tom Brady, why was he there? Because he was next to the CEO of Under Armour, who was
Right.
next to
Right.
the CEO of CBS, who was next to the CEO. Think of that
Who was
for a
next
second.
to Bob Kraft, who could barely get on the camera in the bottom right corner of your
Yeah,
screen.
Donald
and he's
Trump
like,
was sitting, and Donald Trump was sitting in the row behind them.
So Peyton Manning can do every advertisement he wants for every company out there. But last time I checked, the Papa John's guy didn't bring him to the Pacquiao Mayweather fight.
Right.
Or the whatever insurance guy.
Yeah, well-
they know this guy is much bigger than the game. He's much bigger than marketing in general. His
Right.
endorsements are nothing. You want to know why? Because he doesn't endorse anything unless he's on the freaking board.
Right.
Right.
That's how serious Tom Brady is.
Yeah,
And they
of
can't
course.
touch him in that. So why not call him
Well,
out? 'Cause they know they won't impact his
How many players
future
have
earnings.
4 Super Bowl rings? Is it 4?
4 Super
Yeah.
Bowls, been to 6.
Yeah.
I just
He's-
think the whole thing is blown out of proportion.
It
Hopefully
is.
they'll
It's-
change it back to where, there's a special referee designed for the footballs. Gets them, pumps them up, weighs them,
Yeah, that's
and
the way-
also
that's
put
the
it
way
on
Brady,
video.
you like it at 12.5, it's roughed up.
Right.
Okay, here's a guy who's
Right.
going to make sure
But
it's like
that's the
that.
way
It's
it should
confirmed.
be. It
But
makes
also,
no sense
why
the way
is
they had
the
it.
officials' room not under camera?
There's a lot of things. Why is the end zone? The end zone isn't under camera.
I don't get
A
that.
direct line. I have no idea. They
But
have
like
all
the
money in the world.
refs are the ones you have to worry about the most because you don't know if they can help determine a game.
100%. They could
You
be
don't
betting.
know
They could
who's
be
going in and
They've
visiting.
proven that with the
You know
NBA.
what?
They could be gambling on the game.
Hey, the
Right.
NFL has enough money. They could have hired some independent person just to handle
That's
the
what I
balls.
mean.
They
Doesn't
did hire
have
an
to-
independent person. Ted Wells is supposed to.
Yeah,
be an
but here's the
independent
weird
person.
thing.
Yeah, but he's not handling the balls.
can't-
He's just busting them.
He can't be independent if he's your go-to guy.
Correct.
If you have him on retainer, that's not independent.
Yes.
He's working for you.
Yeah.
So that was my one thing with the Ted Wells.
It is. That's the funny thing about sports. Because in all honesty, I want to be the devil's advocate who isn't that typical New England sports fan. That's just my nature. I want to go against the curve in a sense. The problem is everybody else in the country is the same way. They just hate on us because they want to hate on us. They don't
Right.
rationally
Right.
talk about the argument either. So just like we don't, we're going to back Tom Brady no matter what. They're going to hate Tom Brady no matter what. There's no such thing as middle ground when it comes to Boston sports fans and the rest of the country.
No, because they
They literally do hate us because they ain't us. They
Right.
literally
Right.
do.
It's a jealousy
It's a
thing.
fact.
and,
It's
you
the
know,
late
that's not
90s, early 2000 Yankees.
right.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
It's
But-
the early 90s, mid 90s
We
Duke
hate-
basketball teams.
Boston hated Derek Jeter. What the hell is there to hate about Derek Jeter?
That's right.
He's a
great.
Yankee,
What is there to hate about
and
Derek
that's
Jeter?
enough.
Yeah. He did
No,
everything
yeah,
by the
that's
book.
right. The
Right.
Yankees thing.
Right.
Everything by the book.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. No. And
So
you
did
know,
Tom Brady.
And the bottom line is, they should. The
This story
crime-
is dominating the airwaves so much it's on commercial real estate radio.
That's
I mean,
right.
that's how serious it is.
Yeah, but
It is so serious that we're talking about
the
it.
penalty is just too severe.
The penalty is
for
ridiculous. The whole
crime.
idea is ridiculous. You don't have it weighed. You don't have it measured. You don't have it on film. We don't. How can we trust the refs? Like all that. You don't have any factual proof the refs actually tested with
How
a
can you
gauge.
trust the NFL?
That's what I mean.
You know, I mean that's.
I tell you who I do trust. Tom Terrific, and that's my last statement.
And you heard it here. Well, we want to thank Marty Reisner
Yeah, thank you, Marty.
of the Auburn
Industrial.
Development Corporation, and I also want to thank Eric.
My pleasure, as always.
It's always nice to see him in the
And
studio.
our sponsors, as always.
And our sponsors, which we mentioned.
Yep, Comstack, City of Warwick, Rhode Island, City of Marlborough, Massachusetts, City of Rochester, New Hampshire.
And Eric,
Yes,
this
Rick.
deal is done.